My name is Nandre. Currently, I'm pursuing BTech in DYPIU. I'm intern at DoK and also an DevSecOps and open source enthusiast. So, today's topic is containerizing stateful applications. So, you might be wondering what is stateful applications. So, stateful application basically saves client data. It remembers specific details of a user like profile, preferences, and user actions. It saves data from the activities of one session for use in the next session. Also, all applications have state, but an application component can be stateless if it cleanly separates behaviors from data. It can also fetch data required to perform any behavior. So, how does the stateful component manages the all the states? So, to answer that, I'll be covering few types of states an application may have, and how can we deal with each one of these to containerize the applications. So the first one is persistent state. So persistent state and storage refers to storage volumes, which is usually associated with stateful applications such as databases, which remains available beyond the life of individual containers. So here's an example. So here we can see the data is in the container and it can be deleted when the container terminates. So to allow the data to exist when the container terminates, you will have to use storage mechanisms which manages the data outside of the container. So this can be easily done by using host volumes, mapping them to containers. Also here we can see the data is in the host volume uh, uh, and it gets deleted when the host terminates. So similarly to allow the data to exist when the host terminates, you will need to use storage mechanisms which manages data outside of the host. Also here the data is independent of host and container. So from network volume or the file system. But what if your data needs to stay attached to a specific container? So, for example, one of your customer wanted to manage a large amount of video content, which could not be replaced. So, if the container died and was restarted on the another host, they wanted the same data to be available on that container. So, if you have many such applications like that, you can use volume plugins. It, it can basically help cause it sits below the container engine. So yeah, next is configuration state. So in configuration state, applications need to be configured correctly. In configuration state, it could be things like IP addresses or other external services or credentials to connect to a database. So the next is session state. So in session state, when a user logs in, the session data may be generated by the application. So this could be an authentication key or other temporary state for the user. So in modern applications, the state is stored in a distributed cache or a database, which can be accessed by any service instance. So let's see an example here. So yeah, let's say there are user A, user B, and user C, and they are trying to access a e-commerce website, and the e-commerce website is hosted in all the servers. So in the stateful architecture, what happens is the state of the users are maintained inside the server. For example, user A is connected to server one. So here the state is nothing but the data of the user, such as the profile image of the user or any crucial session data is stored. So in that specific server locally, it is specifically server locals. So I have just added the database here, but we are not storing any state, the user in the database. So similarly, now the problem with this is, let's say server one goes down, and now user A was trying to buy some products from the website, and he or she has added products to the cart. Now at that point, what if server one crashes? So here we can connect to a server through load balancers, but obviously the state of the user is lost because the data is lost in server one. So user has to restart the whole thing by ordering the products or adding the products to the cart. So that's the issue with the session state in the stateful applications. So here's the summary, what we have learned today. So in this session, we discussed what a stateful application is, different types of state application state. We also covered each type of state and how it is managed in a containerized environment. So yeah, thank you for listening. Here are my socials, and also don't forget to follow DoK community on Twitter, LinkedIn, and join us Slack.